Hello, hello. So, as you can see, I've managed to climb myself back. You've seen in the previous upload that was this Garen game, which put me to 625 LP. And first, I'm gonna say why this is important, and then I'm gonna delve into the road that I took to get here. Then I woke up, I was at 69. Now I'm 70. So it was nice, but now it's not nice anymore. Anyway, there's a starcup cutoff for ranked ladder, which is if I publish it, if I publish this recording at the time that I want to, it's gonna be 22 hours from there. That's gonna be the cutoff, and the top 6 here is gonna qualify straight into the semifinals, the top 16 of starcup. And if you're not in the top 6, then you're gonna go through the whole qualifier, and then you have to get through there to get one of the other 10 spots. So, and there's, as you can see, there's people on the Nordic ND server and also on the US server. So, and these are, it's like this is like closed already. It was closed yesterday midnight. So this is that there's not gonna be any surprise signups anymore. So I'm here. So basically, you can see it's not much. I don't know, like I don't know why, because I would still expect more people to sign up through here. I guess there are many people who just don't have the time to commit that much to rank it and then just gonna go through the qualifiers. I don't know. I was kind of expecting that more people would sign up, but I guess obviously I'm not gonna complain. That's the better. It's the easier it's to make through. Okay, so like here's the North and East. I'm basically just looking at like these are the people, and then I'm looking at top 6, and I'm looking at the 7th people. But I'm 7%. My bad, not people. 7%. How far they are. Obviously, if the other people overtake me, like, it doesn't matter as far as I know. It doesn't matter if you are on the first spot or the 6th spot. All you get is the qualification. Maybe potentially there's like if there is some sort of seeding in the top 16, then maybe it can matter a little bit, but probably not really. Like the top 16 is gonna be like 2 days of 6 matches, like 12 matches overall. So like I don't think the seeding would be that relevant anyway, because you'd probably shuffle around the points that you achieve in that one. So it's like we're like a 2-2-2 split as usual, like 2 games with the same people, and then swap. But that's the future. It doesn't really matter at the moment. So there is Von ahead of me. I mean, 785 should be definitely safe. And then I was second when I stopped, but obviously they popped off. So 2 people ahead of me, 685. And then I'm third with 625. Fourth is at 509. No, never mind. The fourth is at 586. My bad. The fifth is at 509, and the sixth is at 483. And the seventh, which is what is important, like that's what I have to pay attention, because like if they can reasonably make it to 625 and above in the remaining time, that's when I could potentially need to play. But I'm thinking 396, it's like more than 200. So it's like 220. Math is hard sometimes. 230. No, 229. Anyways, 229, I think. Yeah, it's like more than 200 LP in 22 hours, which is possible. It's possible, but it's not necessarily likely. It's also different when you have like the pressure of actually getting 200 LP. Because I mean, if anyone could just get 200 LP in a day just because they want to, then obviously everyone's LP would be inflated to the skies. Because it's not like other people don't want to gain LP. They also want to gain LP. That's why they play ranked. So and Enox was in a good position, but then some bad games and like fell out of range. And then basically, I don't think you need really to like worry about anyone. Like a 259, I think that's like way too far. Just like the 365 can be potentially, and there's like 396, 377, like below 400. And I'm at 625. So I think I am chilling. So yeah, I think the best thing to do is to not play until the cutoff and just take my top six, and then I can potentially think about other qualifications. For example, Tacticians Cup, Tacticians Trials. I most likely will, because why wouldn't I? Especially if I wanna keep myself in quote unquote shape. So I might try to push towards that, like a top 36, which is like E West. I'm at 70. It's like it's there's a fair distance still, but you never know. But for now, I'm gonna sit. And now we get to, I guess you could say, the main part of the video, to go through how I exactly got here, like how I could basically, like I was on the 16th, I was down at 0 LP, and then there was like a bit of a fall here. I was like 109 LP on the 18th, and then I guess you could say I popped off. I went up to, not entirely uninterrupted. There was like two rough games here, like maybe like a two three rough games along the way, but overall, like that's the 7 and the 8 was a bit rough, but I've managed to recover. And yeah, let's try to go through these as much as possible. I don't know how far I should be going back. Let's grab like a 0. I don't think I'm gonna delve into every singular game and what I was playing against, because that would take a long time. So probably not great for the viewing experience. Let's just say, like, I was at 0 here, right? 8-7-5. That was a struggle situation. That was on the 16th, I think. And then here is basically when I started climbing back up. Here I took the Shannon augment, and I had pretty reasonable hits along the way, and I thought that I would get better than third, but I didn't. Here I ended up sticking with the Jin Mudori roll, which I will avoid from this point on. I don't mean it like from today, but like from this game onwards, I would most likely avoid it most of the time. This one I'll check specifically, because I don't know what happened here or how I was able to. Oh yeah, I was able to win because there was no Akali. Yeah. There was one Akali, but it was like not the classic Akali with the Rage with Archangels. So yeah, assassin. Yeah, I am the assassin here. Okay. So yeah, that was nice. Obviously, it will be rough. It would be and will be more rough from here on out once the. So I guess the Akali build and the Akali comps got more prevalent. Also, I think the Volibear is also like a rougher matchup, which was also, I guess it wasn't. I guess it was present here. I don't know what happened there. Didn't hit hard enough. Didn't hit the threshold. Anyway, so that was a win there. And then here is just a crew. I guess I just bled out into a fifth. This one was the Ash stuff. Like I was only running this Ash for like the last one. I had it on DF, I think. It wasn't really doing anything. Yes, I mean, yeah, Jace, Caitlyn, Silvermere Dawn, and then Ari with Ludens. so it's reasonable to lose there. This one was just lead out into fourth, and that is like the pattern that was representative of the games that I had. Because usually what would happen when I would like try to lose streak early, right? Like even if I build up an econ, there are just too big hits and too many fights that I could just, even if I spike relatively hard, there are still fights and you could just lose still. And that will lead to a situation where I am, even if I feel decently strong, if I'm down to like 2 lives, rotating 2 strong comps, and I go down and I go get a 7th, for example. So what I've been doing is that I'm trying to make as strong as a board as I could, and then once I get to 8, even if I roll down and I miss, which happened quite often, even if I roll down and miss, I can lead out to like a 4th, 3rd, sometimes 5th, like that kind of stuff. So that is something that I've been doing because it just has a better result, because like the payoff is not that great even if like try to lose streak into a bigger spike, because I roll down with 40 gold, I miss. I could also roll down with 80 gold, I could still miss just as well. So it's like you can never entirely eliminate the possibility of missing. Obviously missing is a very interesting term, which is like also relative, because what is one person it qualifies as missing, another person who has like different lines open or different ways of salvaging the game in their head, then they might not even consider it as a miss. It's just I hit something different instead. But if you're not casting your net wide enough, then sometimes you could just miss your outs even if they are there. Obviously that has like limits and whatnot. It's like I'm not gonna say like, oh, you can always hit something, because like sometimes they just don't make sense with what you already have, augments, items, and the team that you already have. Like, I don't think you're gonna pivot into Ash with no bows, that kind of stuff, even if you hit Ash 2 and the roll down. But it can kind of work with the other way around, by the way. So like I feel like if you have Ash and you end up hitting the Volibear instead, it's not great, but it's playable. If you like throw Edge of Night, Rage Blade, Kraken onto Volibear, it's not great, but it's playable. Like you can get like a 4th, 3rd even sometimes. Anyways, as you can see from the text here, Luchador, Braum, Mundo, One Trick, AD, Hot Streak. So like from this you can tell that I'm just basically forcing the Volibear comp as much as possible, because I feel like once you hit and then they also hit, you can like reasonably often beat the Kali comp. But you would also you could still have to try a little bit to keep the Samira alive as much as possible against the Kali, and then they can both do damage. But yeah, I mean, obviously sometimes I still lost to the Kali, like that happens. So it's not a guaranteed win, but it's pretty good chances. And yeah, just grab the Mundo, grab the Gnar, throw the volley items on the Gnar, or I guess you could even, depending on the situation, right, you can throw Volibear and Samira, like the mix of the 2 items. Whatever you hit, like you can eye and then Death Pro on the Gnar, for example, or something that would go on the Samira later. It's like you're not necessarily stuck. If you're hitting not exactly Volibear items, but something that still you need for the comp, like Red Buff, Less Whisper. I guess Less Whisper Slam is something that happens more often. But generally, just put the Volibear items on Gnar, and they just Mundo gets the tank items, and then you don't need a 3-star Mundo or anything, right? And then when you get to the 4, as probably everyone knows by now, right? Like even if you hit set 2 and then you have Mundo 2, you won't swap the items from the Mundo because it's just better. Especially like when you hit the 4 luchador, it's even more so. There's like one rough point obviously can be that you you kinda need the Braum on 8. I feel like, I mean, technically if you like roll down and you hit everything, and then you like, so like, yeah, Volibear to Samira too, but then you don't have a Braum, you probably try to go 9. But then I guess sometimes you just can't, or if you're like stuck on Volibear 1, you might just have to, roll deep on 8 and then hope that you hit a Braum. But it happens reasonably often, actually. Like how much you end up rolling. Like, happen reasonably often in 8. At least it did to me. So like obviously there's gonna be like a big helping of luck. It's not like I cracked the code of TFT or anything. Like obviously I have to get lucky as well to be to gain that much LP. Like I'm not saying that I'm super good at the game at the moment or anything. It's just the line seems to work. Also, I mean, obviously, Luchador is kind of broken, Mundo is kind of broken, Nar is kind of broken. Volibear is kind of, so you get the point. You get the point. It also like cleanses stuff. So it's like there are some Mozart players and whatnot, or like dots. I guess that's mostly Mozart. It's like they put it on the Luchador, and the Luchador jumps and heals and cleanses, and then they're gone. But sometimes you can still use the Yumi. The Yumi is also like pretty good. It's just positioning and that kind of stuff that's like a bit rough if you have like backline comps. There's like a guaranteed positioning, for example, that I'm sure there are like multiple shorts or videos or copies of the information out there where you can like have a guaranteed spot that is like pretty much protected. But I guess for like guarantee you need like 4 backline units, which is, not every comp, but I guess you can do it. You can actually do it with the Prodigy, because you have the Ezreal, Syndra, Malzahar, Yumi. So I guess you can do the positioning and protect your Yumi almost guaranteed. So that's pretty nice. But that tangent aside, let's just roll through the games for the most part. So yeah, I think I was like around here with the Jin Mundo comp. I also got a Luchador here. Like what did I lose to again? Yes, like here I lost to the Akali. And then later it's gonna be like a rough Jin game, but I'll get to that a bit later. Yep, this is just, Katarina game. I grabbed Artifact, and then it was like, I wanted to grab an Artifact for Katarina, but then I just, Spectral was the best of the available ones. I think that was like Shave, but I already slammed Spark at that point. Obviously later the Void, I think the Void just came from, something random, some like PV or whatnot. That's why it went there. It's obviously it's not too bad. Like the rock, something happens to the Rakan accidentally. The Yumi is still there to do the shred. And then I ended up kind of, taking down some people with this. Actually, like I was able to, swap the Jace too onto their carry, and then just either take it down, just by himself, or just soften it up enough so it can just die to random damage from someone else. But this one was a bit too much, bit too capped over there. I think I even won one fight against that. And this one was the second. And it was just really rough. I tried to do stuff to somehow try to outcap it or out position it or something, but it didn't really work. I don't know if like the echo stuff was right, because obviously it was just echo, but I had the emblem. I'm thinking like that can do something, and try to swap it power ups and whatnot. But yeah. Which is like just showing like obviously Sork can still work if you have the spot, but it's just, I feel like it's so rough. Now this one was interesting because I thought that this would work out well, but it just didn't. I got 7th. I got 7th with Flicker Blades Ash. Pretty sad. I even kept like the like 4 Luchador. I was just like swapping back and forth, trying to find something that would work. It's nothing really did. I guess it was just too thin of a comp. Like only 48 gold overall. So yeah, that was one of the rough games. I took a hit there, but anything gets at like a 2-2-2s, not wins, but decent LP gain. That was 6. That was pretty bad, and then I recovered with a 1. Just I guess it was just a classic Gambit game. Eventually, got the duelist spats happened, and yeah, that's the emblem. So that was a win out there. So again, nice for the 2 LP. Like my MMR, is at this point is starting to recover. Like I was taking a beating to my MMR when I was stuck on 0 LP master. So I had to like recover that over time. I feel like at the moment, like with gains and losses, I have recovered it for the most part. And then there was a 6th here. Again, kinda struggling with the backline. It was at DB Ash, so this is not great. And then this one, I guess this one was just a strong lobby. No, it was a weak lobby. Then I don't even know. Maybe the weak lobby is just based on. I don't know if it's like based on comp or if it's based on LP that they have. Because I mean, it says weak lobby, but it's like this is not that weak. This is not that weak. This is also not that weak. So I'm losing to this. Like it's a 5th. I guess it's 5th is like even not even that bad. Alright, so that was that. Again, like here I'm back below 200. This is where the big, like what the big dip happened. Along the way, there's like a 6, 5, 7, 6 part here, just like a bit rough, and that's when I fell down to 109 LP. Scuffed Edge game. This one, like we established, went back. This one was a scuffed game as well. Couldn't really get a Hodge. Like silver mid. Like, so I mean, silver mid done. Obviously, others are not great, and I was like playing Katarina. I think this one was the Caretakers I like Katarina, maybe. So I was like, okay, I'm playing around that, and then just last round, Jace happened, but I'm not beating anyone with it. So yeah, situation. So 7th was rough. 6 here. I tried to do vertical soul fighter, but obviously I think we have overall got to the point when you're like, if you're playing soul fighter, why are you playing soul fighter and not playing Volibear instead? Because like if in the end your end board would be Braum Volibear anyway, and then you're running Set and Samira, like basically Set, Samira, Volibear, Braum, you have this, and then you are much better off playing the Edgelord stuff around it, and for Luchador, like it's a much stronger option playing around those than playing vertical. Also, like you need Gwen. It's like kind of awkward because I guess Diego can do some stuff before the situation gets to the Gwen. Like here, I might be able to get like a better position than a 6th if I go for the Edgelord, which I did, as you can see from here. I from then on out I did that, and then I finally got a win with Kaisa Ramus, although I've heard that Ramus is kinda not that strong compared to like other options. But I guess if you like need frontline, like the mentor variant and the juggernaut variant, is like rough because Mundo is contested everywhere. So like that's not very likely to happen. Like Ramus is also an option. There are some Ramus haters out there. Maybe for a good reason, but still. Again, here I try to do this. I try to And it's just rough because like it's basically a solo carry component unless you have like Gwen 2 with Gwen 2 with 3 items. And even then I don't know. It's kind I feel like it's probably just better the Gwen on the 6th orc anyway. I don't know, it's just a it's not that I didn't have any good games with Vertical Soul Fighter, it's just basically the other options are stronger. But I guess if you're never hitting any Voli bears and you're just hitting only Samira, then you can like play it because the Voli bear Brown obviously not entirely necessary, and then obviously the itemization is different, right? Because like here I have tank items and I have Samira items. Like I can't Samira and Voli bear. So here it, for example, it wouldn't even matter that much if I had 4 Edge Lord variant because Voli bear has no items. You know, that kind of thing is something that you can think about. Okay, so that was the 4th. And then there's another 4th. Yeah, I think this one was artifact opener, and you just grabbed artifact opener with Rising Chaos Syndra and just grabbed the innervating locket, and then I thought that this might be the you know one situation where I could actually stick to the reroll. But yeah, it didn't really work out all that well. Because I mean, I obviously yeah. No. I'm actually kind of, that's not entirely true. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that I faced the Volibear player the turn that they hit Volibear 3, and I was like, I took down the Volibear really low, but then obviously the Luchador procced, and then it jumped, and then it healed back all the damage, and then it one-tapped my board basically. So yeah, but I wasn't even that weak, so I think I might even beat one of these, but I'm not sure. I guess the 4th was fine there. It's the 3rd. Like here you can see, for example, this is one where it's like I couldn't really hit Ash. I think I was going for Ash, right, with the flicker blades. It's like these are Ash items basically on the Volibear. Here I did not know. I did not know. I wasn't entirely sure that the for Luchador Mundo 2 is better than Set 2. I guess I ended up moving the items. But yeah, as far as I know, that is not right. That's not correct to do. And that was that. Here, a 4th. I guess it was like another, roll, and then roll, don't entirely hit, bleed a lot, and then eventually hit some upgrades, but then by the time everyone else is outcapping you, and then you just go in going forth, that kind of stuff. But again, like here is like at least I can bleed out into a 4th quite a few times instead of going 7th or 8th, because I lost streak and I could not spike hard enough, or I rotated into a bad matchup. So yeah, I think like that's like the main takeaway, the main change overall. Yeah, which doesn't mean that necessarily like loose streaking can be. As far as I know, loose streaking is quite weak at the moment, right? But for example, I guess the Volibear comp is pretty decent for it, because like you just want to grab up infinite swords, and then like I'm pretty sure if it's like you end up with triple Deadblade Volibear, triple Deadblade Samir, it's not even that bad. But yeah, I guess it's like would be like IEDB strikers is, I don't know, maybe that's like the highest damage one if you like don't care about. I don't really want to delve into what is BIS and what is not BIS, because I'm just really not sure about it. Personally, I don't know. I feels like, because I've tried this IE strikers as like the basic, because like I know that's gotta be good together. And then sometimes I tried Sterox, sometimes I tried Edge of Night. Some say the Edge of Night is not that valuable because of the Luchador jump and heal and cleanse and whatnot. But personally, Edge of Night kind of felt better than the Sterox. But it's like it might just be plain wrong, because if you're comparing the two, then you have what the Edge of Night has you might as well go into that. So Edge of Night has the 10 AD, 10 AP, 15 attack speed, 20 armor, and obviously the effect. When Sterox has like 40 AD and 300 health and the shield, but it doesn't drop aggro, basically. Right? Like here's the Sterox. 40 AD, 300 health. Like instead of dropping aggro, it gains shield. Which I guess it also depends, because if it drops aggro, but then you don't have anything to hold that aggro for like a decent amount of time, which is usually not the case, because Mundo 2 with Foliage is decently tanky. Like it can hold the aggro most of the time, and then the Volibear can back away. Obviously, usually the problem if you could have with Volibear if it's stuck on the tank, or like they have unstoppable and then they charge in, and then you don't get the jump to the sides and get the damage bonus, but you have to just hit the tank that's in front of you because it dashed in with the unstoppable, and then you can be like just stuck there. But and that's why it's important to have like both the Volibear and the Samira, right? Because like even if that happens, if you have a strong enough Volibear and Samira both together, then you can kill the tank in a reasonable time, and then just Voli gets the reset and then rolls everyone. And I guess basically depends. So like it depends on how many of the other units they were able to kill. And that's why it depends on how bad they're gonna lose the fight and how much HP they're gonna lose. Because there are many fights where I can just get the damage bonus, I get to the reset city basically, and it just jumps and one taps everyone, and then they take really bad losses, and that's very satisfying. That's like not also that's like not only because it brings the LP. That's not the only reason why I'm playing it, because it also feels fun. I don't know. I like Luchador, even if I can recognize how bad potentially it is for the game. I don't know. I like it. I'm playing it. It's fun. I find it fun. Some people don't. I don't know. I like it. I like the Luchador stuff. They're probably gonna get nerfed in the next patch, but still. Anyway, so before I went on another tangent, we were like here-ish. Here I tried an Akali. I think maybe this was the game where I got the Akali basically quote unquote gifted because I took starter kit, and then it was Akali. And then like from that position I can reliably play Akali, because I can guarantee that I'm gonna hit it. But I couldn't hit 3-star or anything, so in the end it was a third. Obviously I lost to the Garen hero, and I lost this. Like I was kind of hoping that maybe I could beat it, but this one also Gwen to 3 items, Echo to 3 items, Karma 3 items, Reason of the Beast 3 item, Jarvan 2, all the Sorks. So like yeah, like it's reasonable to lose to this anyway, even if I have a Brilliant Archangel. So that's that. Here again at like 200 and above. And then I test above this is gonna be like where the big pop-off happens, because so far I went through all these games, it's like still only 200 LP. And so it should like still more than 400 away from the 625. So like I think from here is gonna be like the interesting part when I just actually started to gravitate towards Volibear fully. And then when I started popping off. This one was an interesting game. I might even grab it while the WOD is still up and I try to put it up, even though it was only a fourth. But just getting a top 4 with this was quite an accomplishment in a way, I could say. So yeah, as you can see, it was worth the wait. Zach, that I took, and I thought that hey, I can't really afford to reroll, and I'm just gonna hit this. It's a 3-star, and I try to play around this and just try to level. And it was just a very rough and very scuffed games because I was playing heavyweight Kale instead of Juggernaut Kale. So, I mean, I have the Zac, so I'm pretty sure I need to tank the Zac, and then I kind of do that. I guess there's another option where you could go more into the rate, and maybe that's better. But I also took the second augment. I took the heavyweight specific augment, So then I was just like, yeah, let's just gonna go vertical, heavyweight, Kale, and just not roll for Kale 3, but try the level instead and see where it takes us. And I mean, I got to a fourth. I don't think that really did. I guess Zyra 2 did make a difference because I was like, desperately trying to position in a way that my Kale doesn't get eaten by a Akali. But I didn't have much success with that. So I didn't have much success with that. But if you look at this, like getting fourth here, I guess you'd say the weak lobby and passive lobby. All right, sure. Let me have this. I still think it's kind of an accomplishment if you're looking at my like the Zonya Smolder, like super hard for me to kill. And like when my singular carry is basically a kill too, even though it's level 9. So and then here's this one. I'm pretty sure this was fusion, right? Because you see from the items it was fusion dance. So just eating the Jason just had so much stats. Like I think it was like 9,000 HP. Darius. So yeah, like these are all things that I can't really do anything against. And then I outplaced this, for example, which is just a Kali player. It's just like obviously this was itemized, not with the ostensibly best in slot Archangel's Rageblade Shojin is G8, which is like obviously against me. I guess it doesn't like it would even be weaker, and probably if it has Shojin, it can like outplace me. But then you get into the whole item economy and item management. It's like can't straight up say like, oh, what if they built Shojin instead of GA? Because like maybe they didn't have necessarily the opportunity to do it, for example, based on how they made items or how they slammed items. And if they hold for Shojin, then maybe they lose HP on a different round. If they didn't slam the Agile Knight. And then, so like, this whole they made the wrong item, it's not necessarily just as simple as just making a different item. Because like, sometimes you just can't make a different item and still achieve the exact same result in every fight. So yeah, like this fourth is like I guess I could like quote unquote say that I'm a little bit proud of, even though it's like a fourth. It's just something that's like not happening every game. It's like heavyweight kill is I guess it's not really a version that is often used. So yeah, all right. But that aside, back to the regular gaming. Here I ended up with a third. I guess a low stat to this because they were too beefy and they were like again 2 Volibear 2s. Even like a Soul Fighter emblem in there. So yeah, third is reasonable there. And here a very nice, very satisfying Volibear game, as you can see. Here it seems like I'm still tank itemizing the set. I think eventually this will change. But yeah, this one was obviously very satisfying. I even had like an extra Braum 2 overall. Because I think generally you want, obviously for attack speed, but also because generally you have like this whole thing when you have Zyra and then you have a plant and then the plant you can place it on like either side because it won't be able to move away. So you can like kind of fix the side where Volibear is gonna jump. So I think aside from the obvious attack speed, I think that's another reason why like Zyra would be your level 9. But I guess, with like Braum 2 is Braum 2. So I guess I think it's fine. Just throw in another Braum 2 there. That was a win. That took me to 300. This one was a rough game, and like basically I thought that I was gonna I remember I took the sniper's augment, when it every 4 seconds it targets I think the lowest health enemy in range or something and deals them 85% of your AD. You find that augment. I'm not entirely sure what the exact wording is, but I don't think it really matters here. Point is that I took that and that kind of made me feel like I'm locked into the Jin reroll stuff, but then obviously I'm not hitting Mundo because Mundo is used everywhere. It's not even that many mundos out in the pool, but it's just like 2 here. It's like 3, 4, and then somewhere another 2-star, and I just ended up not hitting it, and I tried to move it over the set. Maybe it does better. But the other annoying part was like, I'm sitting there, I have a Jin and Nar as backline and no one else to really bait. And then I was just, I thought that Edge of Night would cleanse the mark, because it says, I believe, shed negative effects, and I would consider Akali mark as a negative effect, but apparently not. At least that's how I felt, and that's how I've heard other people mention it, that Edge of Night would be better if it would it would actually cleanse the Akali mark. So that happened there, and I was just basically, you see Akali. I just like, I lost to everyone. I even lost to a Kale. Like, that was the one that upset me. that I lost to a Kale comp 3 level 9, because I just could not take down the Zac. I just couldn't take down the Zac. It was just way too beefy. My Jhin was just hitting it, and there's like no way for me to bypass it. So that was the situation. Like, if I got like a Braum, it would be obviously different, because then I could do 4 Luchador, and then maybe I have at least a Braum that could grab the solo frontline Zac and then throw it away. And then maybe I could play the game, get to the kill, because obviously pre-level 9 kill is not very strong in the like stage 4, for example. But yeah, that was a rough game. But then I was just like kind of reminding myself that I just shouldn't take augments that lock into lines that have basically very low hope of top 4ing, unless things go perfect, or if you have like a fish bones or something. But like, let's say I had fish bones, am I still not trying to go for Volibear instead? Which I guess would have been hard in this game. I don't know. We'll see. But generally, from here on out, I said to myself that, okay, let's just avoid the comps that I know that they don't cap high enough without perfect conditions. So that was that. And then here, you're gonna notice the pattern here. Grab the Mundo, grab the Gnar. Later I'm Juggernaut frontline. And then I was super healthy, and obviously Gnar kills a lot. And then even if you get like kind of targeted, you can jump away with the Luchador, and then you can like kill some extra units even if you lose the fights. And then on 8 roll down, find the stuff. If you're lucky, you find the Braum. If you're not that lucky, don't find the Braum. Then it's a bit harder. And then I guess basically it's just you roll until you hit the Samira to Volibear 2, and then you're going 9, because there's nothing more to hit, because the rest is basically very cheap, right? Like Shen's cheap, Mundo cheap. Yeah, so I guess it doesn't even matter if it's a 1-star or a 2-star. And then obviously Gnar you already have, and you can also, with the removers, like both for power ups, like obviously you have a Gnar too. I'm not selling the Gnar just to save a remover, because like I don't need them all that much. Here again, I think for some reason I ended up moving it to set, but I don't think it would have been weaker if I kept it on the Mundo either. Also, you could see that I think this one was a ball game. The 7 balls. Maybe I collect them, and I got the second cash out here. That's why I have 2 radiant, because I think one was from augment and the other one was from the thingy that you get, because you get the radiant upgrade, the masterwork upgrade on the second vault. I mean, obviously it's like kind of reasonable, I guess. Obviously to like win more stuff, because that means that you have won 14 fights during the game. Like, at that point you're already in a pretty good spot anyway. You have won that much, so it just kind of solidifies your win. And that was that. The win, and then he's a 4th. Guess I just got outcapped by their stuff. Yeah, like the Voli Bear. Interesting. Oh yeah, this one was kind of fun. Obviously, I was not enjoying it when I was playing against it. I didn't find it fun when I was playing against them. I was I was I was sitting there thinking, how did I lose? How did I lose? Is what I kept saying a bunch. But yeah, here it has. I had Mundo 1. I guess I kind of hit the other stuff. It's fine. As long as I guess it's a fourth. Here, a fourth with the Kali. Here the Jace, Caitlyn stuff. But I lost to this. And it was just too, I don't know. It's still, even with these, it still kind of took too long, and there was too many units, so I could not find a way of threading the needle way. It's not even that I couldn't find a way, so it's more like there wasn't really much to thread the needle to, right? Because if there's like an Ashe in like one corner, and then there's a Zyra, there was a Zyra, but the Zyra also had the plant in front of it, in the angle that you can't hit it with the. So like you can't hit the Zyra with the Caitlyn, you can only hit the plant, and then I don't even think that I killed the plant. But even if I kill the plant, they just resummon it. But I'm not sure if they are resummoning it into the same spot. I think so. I don't know. That's not the point. Point is I could not thread the needle. I could not get there. Obviously, the luchador is not. I just denied basically the luchador. I think took it to deny. So that's what happened there. Here, obviously, oh yeah, this one was the one where I took that's Defiance, but then I looked around and I see that, oh, maybe the Trickster glass is better, and I had that as an option, but I was kind of sleeping on it. I didn't pick it up. I was kind of kicking myself a bit, thinking that I messed up into the Defiance, but then I started, consoling myself. But it would have been so much better, because like if you think about it, it also gives you not just the Voli bear copy, but earlier it also gives you the Nar copy, right? Because then you also have two Nars or two Nar 2s in like the early game, shooting at stuff. That's pretty good. But as you can see, I hit the Samira 3, so obviously that was a win. Not much to say. This one was an absolutely nasty game. Absolutely disgusting. Because I started with Crystal Gambit Emblem as my first augment. And then I had the angle when I was like, okay, hey, I can just, on stage 6, not stage 6, what I mean, on level 6, I actually rolled a bit until I hit 5 crystal, because I had a pretty strong board. So I was able to, get some kills. And I got the 16 kill stuff. I got the 16 kill Crystal Gambit on the 5. And that is a 33% chance for a random legendary and a completed item. And what did I get from it? I got a Zyra and a Sunfire. And also while I was getting there, I also got an Ashe, just natural in the shop. And I also had like 1.5 items for the Ashe already. So 1 or 2, I think it was like 2.5. So I had the Ashe items, and I just had 7 Crystal Gambit on stage 3. So obviously, I mean, if that's not a win, then I don't know. Maybe there are like things that I could still potentially lose out to, but like getting stage 3, 7 Crystal Gambit has probably a pretty high win rate overall. So yeah, that was just a kind of unfair game. Dominated the lobby, and no wonder. Yeah. And then here it was just, Juggernaut smaller. Kind of bled to I guess bled is not even entirely right. I guess I just get outcapped by stuff. Couldn't really hide. I smoldered properly from the Akali. Tried. Didn't work. That was that. Here there was a pretty strong Ashe game. In the end. Bunch of items. Radiant Rageblade somewhere. That was the one that put me to 540. This one was a rough game. I clicked the Prodigy augment that gives Prodigy emblem, the gold augment. I had another option that would give me the frying pan. The frying pan and feeds 40 health every round to the nearest champion. I took the Prodigy, even though I didn't really have that great of a start for it either. And then on stage 2 carousel, there were like 2 spats and a frying pan, and I knew that was kind of doomed. I was able to even grab one. I guess I was like trying to deny or something, but I think a Prodigy, you had like a Prodigy, and then I'm not sure what you really do with the second frying pan. So that was that. I think I also had Salvage Bin this game. Tried to make some sense of the items, but then I ended up picking up even some extra tiers from Carousel, which I guess I didn't really need. It was just a disaster of a game. Even though I could hit the Masahar. And I think that was yesterday's games. Like this session. Yeah, or something like that. I mean, at this point, it was quite a while ago, right? Like 20 hours ago, the last game, because I got to the point where I'm pretty much sitting. So, yeah. Oh, this ended up becoming a very, very long one. I just realized. But I mean, I went through through the entire thing. I think I'm just gonna put like a TLDR or something into the description. That will be it. Yeah. Okay. So that was this disaster of a game. Over that, and I was like, let's go back to the tried and tested, even though it's highly contested at this point. So yeah, just kind of the usual, like a blue buff. Just at the end, I just ended up stuck with two tiers, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm making the blue buff because not much else better to do. Here I tried the Xerax over Edge of Night. Didn't feel all that amazing. But yeah, here it was interesting that I mean, obviously I was beating this overall. Like what I had Luchador Emblem. I guess Ekion is not that super important, but then and obviously get to 9 is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So yeah, so it's like if you get a Luchador Emblem, you can drop the Gnar and then you can go 6 Edge Lord on 9, which I guess it can be that bad, can it? But then what happened here is that Caitlyn just took everyone down. I don't know, he just did so much damage, it was crazy. Also, like the emblems are pretty useful overall for that comp because it just like ends up filling some extra gaps here. Like here, you get another Prodigy, it's more mana. You get 2 heavyweight emblems, so it's like 4 heavyweights. It's like more beef. There even has a sniper's emblem here. So yeah, like it was a pretty strong comp. So I guess it wasn't that awful to lose to it. That was the second. This eight, like this was just pretty frustrating because I was just, it was wild. I was uncontested and I still couldn't hit the volley bear. I just lost every fight, so I didn't really feel like at any point that I could go and start econing. That was just a disaster of a game. Felt really bad. I was pretty confused about what I was supposed to do, but I guess overall I just like, okay, this is sometimes it happens. Sometimes bad games happen. There's not much you can do about it aside from one learning from it, but two just moving on and playing the next one. Go next, as they say. This one I complained about this game. I'm complaining about myself, not anyone else. This was the one where I was holding two Akalis because I've seen that they are they have a bunch of Akali copies, but then during the fight phase, I check their bench and I see that there are no Akalis on their bench. So like in that split second, I was thinking, oh, I guess they gave up on it because they are on 1 life. But no, that's not what happened. Because obviously I didn't see the units on the board anymore because it was like the end of the fight, like towards the end of the fight. So obviously it wasn't full board everyone there. And when I checked on the next planning phase, I see that they have 2 Akali 2s on the board. And if I hold those 2 Akalis, and by the way, the only benefit that I got from selling those 2 Akalis was one extra gold in late game. It's half of a reroll. It's insane. It's insane that I even sold it or even checked. Even if they gave up on it, it's just pretty much undefensible to sell those. But I sold them, and then they rolled, and then they found 2 extra copies, and then on the carousel there was a Kali, and it was their side. And yeah, and I had basically high enough HP that everyone else died before me as they took them out. I was second. I was grumbling about that much quite a bit. It put me back above 500, and then he was up third with this. They had like 7 Voli bears while I had 2. I was just sitting here rolling every round, trying to do the Voli bear. Never happened. Bled to a third, I guess, because I can still beat the other people even if Voli bear won, or even if I lost, I wasn't that bad of a loss, and then they were killed off by the other 2. So that was a third. Another third here, which is I probably should have been able to beat these, to be honest. Like, instead of going 10, could have rolled. I could have done something over the TF, because like this TF there's no way it's really doing that much. So I'm pretty sure like there should be a way for me to beat this at least. Probably this as well. So I think this one was a winnable game. I just couldn't keep it high enough, because you see that I had the opportunity to go higher, because like I was level 10 with a TF. Like, we have just stayed on 9 and figured out something, or just go 10 and put in something that actually does something. Also, I was struggling because I only had red buff for like that one round. I picked it up from carousel, because even though I had Psychic Forge, it just ended up being in a situation where I was like, oh, I can keep this item or I can keep that item. And I guess the Kraken moved, like on the very last round, it moved over here, because I guess there isn't really anything that's like that much better, especially with 4 Luchador. I just moved it over there. Until then it was here, but then red buff came up here, and I don't think it made a difference or a placement or anything. But yeah, that was third there. And this last game here is the Garen game that I uploaded yesterday. And that puts me to 625 LP. And then let's check the leaderboard again. Let's give it a refresh. See what's up. Okay, they're actually coming up. 445 here. And then 586. So like, let's look at okay, this is fine. I'm still in the third, but this is coming up. So it's like 4, it's 5th, and the 6th is the 445, which is getting closer. It's getting closer, but I still don't think, because it's still 180 LP gap that you have to make up to catch up with me. And I'm not saying, like, look at the stats. Like, they have 100 something games. I have 327 games here. So like, obviously, like, in comparison, like 165. So like, if you're comparing it to actually playing better, or the efficiency of time put into the games, and obviously I'm not in a great spot. Like, I think my stats are, pretty bad, pretty bad overall. Like, low win rate, low 6 rate is also not great. And this is with the upswing that I've had in the recent days. But I guess if I needed like a TLDR or something for the whole thing, it's just play Mundo, put the tank items on it, play Nar, put the Volibear items on it, or like sometimes the Samira items on it or something if it goes there. Samira obviously holds, like, usually red buff less whisper can hold the Samira, or if you have even Shroud Sunfire, that goes on the Mundo, and then you're just chilling, you play around the 4 Juggernaut on like level 6-ish. Sniper, I guess, doesn't even really matter. Sometimes you do play a sniper, sometimes you don't. Caitlyn can get some pretty nice snipes, that kind of stuff. But it's not like super important. And then on 8 you roll down, you hit, you don't. But even if you don't, you have such a strong early game that you can like bleed out into a 4th eventually. And that's it. That's the idea. Alright. It's been an hour. Thank you very much. Bye bye. I said bye bye.